It would be better than nothing. It'd be
That's
better
true.
than me just showing up over there and not paying. What if I just stop and just tell them I want to go shoot?
Where you?
Is there going to be anybody there?
No.
So I can just go.
This is how all of this shows start out in conversation.
You're the park ranger, so if you're okay with it, I'm good. But I just want to say, if somebody asks, hey, Ann said it was okay.
I guess that's a yes.
Look at Blake.
All right then.
I forewarned you.
I didn't.
As soon as you walked in.
No
I
means
didn't
no.
say-
Everything else means
I
yes,
didn't
right?
say anything. I didn't say anything.
Tell him
I,
no.
I just have no comment.
This is Ann Paley. We're going to switch gears real quick. State Park Ranger. It's been a while since I've been on here. It seems like it's been 2 weeks. Has it been 2 weeks or just 1 week?
I think it has been 2.
I was out of town last week, and
I
something
think
something happen and we had to rerun. No. I was here 2 weeks ago. That's when we had Mike Reisner here.
Oh, okay.
And then last week I was out of
I
town.
listened in on that.
Blake, you haven't been here in a while. This is Blake Grooms, by the way,
Hello. How are
captain with the Lawrenceburg Police
Oh,
Department.
you better
wanna-
say your thing.
Go
you
ahead
want-
and say
you
it.
want to do your
Yes.
disclaimer right off the
I have a
bat?
disclaimer. My opinions and views are that of my own. Anything I say here today is not necessarily the opinions and views of the Lawrenceburg Police Department or the city of Lawrenceburg.
You did such
You
a
did
good
a
job.
That was
great job
wonderful.
on that. Y'all might want to lean up a little bit. I had a guy
I'm glad
tell
you
me.
practiced.
I had a guy tell me last night that he was listening to us on the radio. What is it? 105.3.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he could just barely hear us, and he was
These
having
mics,
to turn
you
us
have
up.
to talk directly into them. Like even, see, when I go to the side, you can't really hear me. You got to be right here. That's why you're
Okay.
supposed to wear headphones,
Well,
so
Oh,
you're
so you know
able
if you
to
can hear
hear
yourself.
So
but if-
you snapped at me the last time, so I went ahead and put them on, and then I was like, "Ooh, I'm the odd
No,
man
I
out."
probably snapped at you because
She's snappy.
the thing
She'll
is,
snap at you
he'll
for no
touch
reason.
his mic,
Mhm.
and you can hear that over the radio.
That's right.
Like if you touch that bass, and he refuses to wear headphones, so he doesn't know when he's being
I'm
obnoxious.
a rebel. I'm a rebel. I don't like wearing headphones. It's too quiet. If there was some music or something playing in the
You
background,
can
Hey,
or
you
hear
can do that.
everybody talking.
You can put on some music in the
I
background.
can't because we're on YouTube
Can or
and
you won't?
Facebook.
no, we'll get in trouble.
We'll get
There'll be
kicked
a
off.
there'll be a
Yeah.
black SUV
Oh,
pull
yeah,
up out front
copyright.
with 2 guys wearing sunglasses, come in here and threaten us.
But anyways, no. What I was telling you is I listened in on the segment where Mike Reisner was on, and see, Mike was a captain when my dad worked at the police department. Started in the '60s, '70s, went to the '80s, and I heard a lot of stories from Pop. So, having Mike on and some of the things he would talk about, and I didn't realize that he was the police chief for, was it Shelbyville?
Shelbyville.
I believe. Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't know that until
Yeah.
I listened in. Yeah, that was a good show.
A lot of people don't know that he was chief deputy under Purdom.
That's right. I didn't know that
A
either.
lot of people don't know that. But he has. I mean, when we left here. I went to his bus station and we hung out for, I don't know, an hour and a half. And it was, if we could have put everything that was discussed at the bus station on here, our ratings would have went through the roof. But we probably would have had a couple of complaints.
Right.
Maybe,
He was pretty entertaining.
maybe 2 or 3.
But it's like I was telling John, anything that he said off the air was 10 times funnier.
Oh yes. Between him and Jimmy Moore, you could write a book.
Oh,
yeah.
somebody needs
A
to.
big book.
Somebody needs to before those days are forgotten. Somebody needs to write up some kind of an autobiography or something about all that stuff.
Yeah, it was a good show.
So what's been going on in the big city of Lawrenceburg?
Oh, business as usual. Busy. A lot of calls in the month of July.
Y'all was just talking about some runaways. I overheard.
Yes.
When was that?
Last week,
Yes, that was last week. I believe that was last
the 27th.
last Thursday.
Yep, the
something like that.
27th.
What happened on that?
Well, first of all, big shout out to our Crockett Park Rangers. They came in big fashion. I mean, just walking through the woods like nobody's business.
Well, they
It's
do.
literally our job.
As you see, we appreciate it
They
because
are
we don't
park
like to do
rangers.
it. No, I'm joking. So we had a call of 2 teenagers missing. I'm not going to give the ages or any type of identifiers, but long story short, this is something that, of course, any law enforcement agency would take serious, and it was all hands on deck. Patrol, CID, and like I mentioned, our state park. We were able to start pinging some phones and get an approximate location. Lord knows it wasn't specific, but in going from door to door in this area that we were at, walking off in the woods at 96 degrees and just the humidity and everything.
Oh yeah, it was brutal last week.
It was horrible. As a matter of fact, I've got more poison oak right now than Crockett Park.
That is terrible.
There's, you know, if you just know more about your plants and stuff, then you would know how to avoid.
Well,
Poison
That's
oak.
the reason
Miss
you
Ann,
should have consulted with
I'm
the
glad
park
you brought
ranger.
that up because that's one of the reasons you're here today.
Leaves of 3, leave it be.
Right? Well, when you're fat and you've got so much sweat in your
He
eyes.
was in a Boy Scout,
Yeah.
apparently.
Yeah.
He would have known that.
I
Yeah.
was, but again, when you got sweat
That
in
would
your
have
eyes,
been
you
the
can't.
first
Oh,
lesson.
good.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
No, but then there's another plant. There's another plant called jewelweed. And they say, I've never tried it myself, but they say if you run into poison oak or before you go to poison oak, you can take the jewelweed leaf and rub it on your skin and it creates a barrier and you won't get poison oak. Or if you already have it, it takes it off.
I mean, I know we had more important things to think about, like finding these lost children. But that would have been something great for you to tell me in the woods the other day.
Well, you was already way in the woods when I saw you,
That's
so
right.
damage was done.
So yeah, long story short, we started knocking door to door. Was able to locate these young individuals, get them back to their parents.
So were they out in the woods or were they
No.
in somebody's house?
They were at somebody's house, close to the woods,
I got you.
where we were at. And you know, when that type of call comes in, you don't know if it was an abduction, if it's just an unruly juvenile. So we have to treat it like it's the most serious one until we rule all the other factors out. But a good ending to a scary situation.
We had, I think, a lot of people was following the murder trial that we had this week. Everybody was prepared for it to go the whole week, and it was a 2-dayer. Nobody was expecting it to go that fast, and nobody was expecting the verdict to only take an hour. I mean, I think it was like an hour and 2 minutes.
That was a quick trial.
Yeah, guilty, second-degree murder. This is the Mark Fields trial that I'm talking about. He was found guilty on second-degree murder, and he was taken immediately into custody, and he's going to have, I think, a sentencing hearing in October. I think that range is 15 to 25, if I remember correctly.
I believe so. I think it's October 10th.
Maybe, yeah. It was, and I missed the verdict, and I still get mad when I think about it. I was there. I was the second witness to testify because I was the first officer there, and so I watched it the rest of the 2 days. And then when the jury went out, I thought, well, I've got some time, and I had some stuff that I'd been putting off to do, and I left. And while I was out, I got a text message that the verdict had come back in, and I missed it. But anyway, I'm glad it turned out like it did. It was the best possible turnout for us and the family. And anyway, got that over with. We got our budget passed.
Oh, fantastic.
That got bumped back to July because there was a problem with when they went to vote on it in June, there was an issue with the tax projections, so they kicked it back to July. And anyway, we didn't get the raises that we asked for, but we got pretty good raises. They met us better than halfway, and I feel like with the direction we're headed, with the revenue projections coming up for this next year, I think we're going to get to where we originally asked for, but it's going to take another budget year to get there. I feel like that's going to happen.
That's fantastic, because especially with the THP doing what they're doing, and I'm proud for them guys because we know too well that law enforcement families are not compensated as much as they should be. But with that being said, we're losing so many people to the THP. At the end of the day, that it is that pay that is the biggest determining factor. On
Sure it is. It
somebody.
comes down to groceries in the pantry,
Yes, sir.
you know, not having to work 2 or 3 jobs.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Now, I've always worked 2 or 3 jobs. This is the first matter. I've got a job now that I do when I'm a couple days a week. So everybody has to work a couple of jobs to make ends meet in this line of work. Anybody want to take a stab at how many calls for service we had in July? These are the July numbers.
Talking about just for county calls.
This includes everything that generated a CAD. Through
everything.
911.
Okay, so Lawrenceburg, Loretta.
No,
St.
no,
Joe.
just the county, not
Just the county, okay.
not including Lawrenceburg, Etheridge, Loretta, and St. Joe. Don't be cheating. I seen you looking.
I'm
I got
not
my
cheating.
hand over it.
I'm not cheating.
2,500.
I'm gonna say like 1750.
And she already knows.
I can't answer him. Where you
1,067
Okay.
with 173 arrests and 171 civil papers served. Actually, the call volume was up, which is the reason why the arrests and the civil process are down. You can always see how the call volume goes up, everything else goes down as far as arrests and civil papers and reports, because when you're constantly answering calls, you don't have time to go out and serve papers and stuff. 253 traffic stops. That's a pretty solid number. That's our call volume ranges between 900 and 11. It floats right around 1,000. So we had 2 SWAT deployments. Only one person got tased. That lucky individual. Only one lucky individual got tased.
That's a lot of traffic stops.
253.
Especially, for a sheriff's office.
That's one thing.
Compared to your 253 to our 384, we had 384 traffic stops in the month of July.
Mm-hmm.
So your boys are out there getting it.
Yeah, well, that's what I want.
And
That's
girls.
what I told them. Be selective with what you stop. Try to be selective with what you stop. 25 escorts, 25 funeral escorts, 19 mental transports. Wrecks, man. I tell you what, I think this 17 was our total crashes for the month.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it is. And we
That's a
had
lot.
one this morning.
You had one.
We had-
And one yesterday.
one yesterday.
We had one yesterday. We had another one this afternoon on
I think
Cruise
yesterday
and
we
Etheridge Red Hill Road, I
reported
believe that's
3
right.
or 4 wrecks on WLX.
I got a
yesterday.
report
Wow.
on the young lady that was injured in the one at the old 64 and the 4 lane. They did neural checks on her and everything is looking good. She reacted to pain in her arms and legs, and her
Good.
pressure in her head
That's
has
awesome.
been good all day.
Mm-hmm.
So
Good.
that's good news, because that little girl was hurt real bad in that wreck.
Oh, yeah.
All my guys that were there and other people that were there said it didn't look good for her. So praying for her for sure.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's talk about the park, Ann. What's going on at the park this month?
This month we got lots of programs going on. Crockett Days will be at the end of the month, the last weekend of the month.
Is that where you dress up like a pioneer and you
That
come over
is.
and build a fire?
Yep, that's exactly.
Can I do that?
Sure.
Did you see her? All right, Blake. Let's
Yeah,
do
I
it.
mean, I'd like to see you in some pioneer
Let's
outfits.
do it. Let's go get her
You
overalls
said
on.
you, Blaze. Like,
You-
dude, you got it.
He
You
don't
can
want to be
come
drawn
too.
into
No,
this.
I'm not doing that.
Put-
I don't even dress up for Halloween. Never have, never
You
will.
don't even have to wear any
I-
shoes, Maddie. Just find
Half
it.
the time I don't wear shoes anyway.
Just pull your hair back in a bonnet, and I'll get a wagon from the Amish. We'll ride up and we'll build a fire.
Wouldn't that
Yeah.
be a sight to see?
No, the Long Hunters will have camp set up. They've got programs scheduled throughout the day, so they'll be doing some campfire cooking all day long, and then I think they've got some blacksmith stuff. I saw on their list there was a program, like some type of midwife program. I don't really know what that's going to be about. I think that's what it said.
Is that like teach you how to have your kids at home?
I guess. I don't know if they're talking about just like medicine during the time and stuff, kind of like a broad thing.
You want to go to that, Maddie?
No. I like having babies in the hospital. But there is no offense to anyone that wants to give birth at home. I think that is very powerful, encouraging, whatever.
Now you
Just
said,
not for me.
What did you say? The Long Hunters?
The Long Hunters,
What
yes.
What are the Long Hunters?
That's a club. They've always kind of partnered with us for Crockett Days. So, gosh, Crockett Days has been going on probably almost as long as the park's been there, I think. But typically they come and set up earlier in the week, and they set up camp, and they're there, and they camp all week in canvas tents, like the whole nine, just like...
No air conditioners?
Nope. Everything has to...
That's pretty strong, Blake.
And I think these guys also do something big over in Giles County, too.
They probably partner with them over there. I think several of them are part of multiple groups that do the same thing, reenactments, things like that. They travel around and do this.
Is this they only do this one time a year?
Crockett Days is only one time a year, yes. This particular group will go other places and do other events. Mm-hmm.
That's got to be tough in late August out there.
Oh, yeah. No, so this year we're moving it. It'll be August, and then after that we're looking at the spring. So it will be a little bit more
a lot
pleasant.
Better. I think
weather.
it would be better suited in the fall when it's like October.
Right.
But y'all do something in October?
We have our Halloween History Trail in October.
What is that?
Typically, you meet at the pool. You can buy tickets for this, and then we walk you down to the museum, and then we do that short trail from the museum back to the amphitheater. Last year, there were animals on the trail, and it was like a riddle, so you had to try to figure out who the last animal was. This year, we were talking about maybe leaning more towards historical figures, like local historical figures, and kind of make it a little bit more spooky. So we talked about doing that, but we also may just go back to the animal thing again because that's always fun. So we do that in October, and then in December we usually have some type of Christmas event. But all of them we try to tie to the history of the park and meet our mission statement with all those programs.
I might come to the Pioneer Days just to look around now. I mean,
pretty-
I'm not
They
serious.
have-
It's pretty neat.
Days.
It's Crockett Days.
Oh,
It
Crockett.
ties back to the park.
Okay.
Yeah, Crockett Days.
You ain't got to yell
It used
at
to
me.
be. It used to be earlier in August because it would coincide with Crockett's birthday, and David Crockett birthplace in East Tennessee also has a Crockett Days that weekend. So to not be in competition with ourselves, we're moving ours later this year and then to the spring. And in the spring, there's a date that coincides with him being elected colonel of the
There
militia
you
or
go.
something like that.
That'd
Anyway,
be better.
so
That's got to be tough sitting out there.
Oh, it is.
And especially with the bugs and the mosquitoes and.
Oh, yeah.
I can
So-
remember going as a kid and like people sell items and
They
stuff
do,
there.
yeah. So they have vendors. You can get a whole lot of handmade things there, a lot of woodworking, a lot of blacksmith stuff. I know they did last year. They had some ladies doing like spinning yarn and things like that. So you can see that and buy yarn from them. And then they had a guy doing some blacksmith stuff just throughout the day.
Don't they have when's the Meriwether Lewis thing out?
That is like the second weekend in October, I think.
You talking about the yard sales?
It
or
coincides- the Meriwether Lewis thing-
Pioneer stuff or
It
thing?
coincides with the yard sale.
It's all the vendors and all the you can go buy all kinds of old timey stuff.
I think it's the same. They call it an arts and crafts festival.
Yep,
But
that's
I
it.
think
That's
it's
it.
the same weekend as the yard sale.
Probably so.
So if it's the same group, I went over there. They were having a get together in Giles County, and they will actually have shooting competitions.
Yeah, so we'll have one at the park.
They will.
It's not viewable by the public just because where it is on the park.
Okay.
But they do have shooting competitions.
Oh, it's neat. Like they'll take like some Amish cut slabs and stand them up, and whoever shoots their slab
what are they shooting?
and the muskets,
50 caliber flintlock.
black powder flintlock, and whoever shoots their board in half first wins. And it was.
It's really cool to watch.
They got their stuff together. They really do a good job.
But that's not open to the public.
That part's not open to
But
the
that
public.
probably would mean me and Captain over there. You could probably get us in on that.
Are you going to join in the Long Hunters and wear your clothes like you're supposed to?
So you're saying because
We could probably do that for a day, maybe an afternoon.
Now, there's some
But-
people that come just to shoot. They don't stay the whole week or anything.
Well, I'm
there's some
talking
people that
about
come
dressing
just to shoot.
up and building a fire and cooking some stew and
so I've got a great
smoking a
Native
corncob
American
pipe
costume.
and all that stuff. About one afternoon would do me. and then I would have to go find an air conditioner.
Well, they're going to be doing programs all on Friday and all day Saturday, so you can pick your day and talk to the Longhorners and get
We'll
you
put
a little
on a
get up.
program, won't we, Captain?
What kind of program
Hey,
you
my
gonna
hat's
put on?
off.
Come up with something.
It needs to be historically accurate and relevant to our mission statement.
How about?
Did you bring that mission statement with you?
I can
today?
recite part of it if you
Okay.
want.
I just wondered. That's fine. Go ahead.
To preserve and protect in perpetuity our natural, cultural, and historical resources for the enjoyment of the citizens of Tennessee and to provide unique recreational experiences throughout a well-planned and organized system of state parks.
Get you some of that.
Here,
Can
here.
you? Can you? Do you have anything like that you can recite?
That's our oath.
I
I held
can-
up my hand
I
and
can
said
re-
that when I got my badge.
I can recite the Miranda warning.
What about the Pledge of Allegiance?
We do the Miranda warning far less often than the mission statement.
I'm sure you do, but that's all right.
So what are y'all's tasks? What's your job? What do you do? Walk us through a day of being a park ranger at David Crockett State Park.
Okay.
After you stop and get your coffee and and make a couple more stops and say
Okay.
hi to everybody and get
Right.
your politicking out of the way.
Right. So usually if you open, you get there at 7. Park opens at 7. You get there, you make a lap. Sometimes you have to open the safe in the office for the office ladies. Sometimes you don't. Depends on who's there. Basically patrol through the park, see what people need. If there's a lot of people there, usually you're riding with your windows down, waving, hey, how you doing? Do you need anything? Most people just flag you down wherever you are and ask, where's this trail is, or they want to hike this trail, what's the best one? And then I'm usually like, do you have a map? And they're like, no. And I'm like, oh, well, go to the office and get one first, and then I'll tell you. But we did that.
Somebody needs some direction. Don't ask Ann if you're listening and you're on the park. Don't ask Ann for direction.
I just want them to have a map. I
She's
want them
going
to
to
be
tell you to go to the
prepared.
front office and get a map.
Or if they have a phone, I tell
I was
them
fixing to
about.
ask, did they have like apps where they can download like
They
the
do.
trails at David Crockett Park?
Yeah, it's called Avenza. It's Avenza.
He's getting this next time he has to go searching.
That's right.
Yeah, and you can currently get all the trail maps for all 57 state parks for free for $0 on this app.
What's the catch?
There's no catch.
Okay.
It doesn't tell you where the poison ivy is.
Right.
Oh yeah, it doesn't tell you where the poison oak is, but it will geo-reference you on that trail map. So as you're going down the trail, you'll
Like you
see your
can-
little
Yeah,
blue
I can
dot.
put a flag.
Well,
right,
that's
right, don't go
cool.
here.
You can, yeah, and then you can drop a pin and be like, "Hey, here's where I'm at. Come get me. I fell down and I can't get up."
Is that a fat joke?
No.
Okay. Moving on.
Yeah. So and then usually throughout the day we'll have to either maybe take a deposit to the bank or something like that. A lot of administrative stuff, and then we'll have programs scheduled in there. So like hikes, we offer yoga, museum tours, some kind of crafty programs, birding programs, snake programs, bird programs.
Where's the yoga done at? Not
just
that I want to come watch it. I'm just curious. About
sometimes I offer it on the end of the lake levee, and sometimes it's at
so
the boat dock.
you're the yoga instructor?
I am the yoga instructor.
That's some handy information. Amy. Thank you for letting us in on that.
And then if it's the weekend, a lot of times we'll be asked more to take towels to cabins, or if their TV's messed up, we fix the TV.
So you got to
or
do that. The
if
park
the
ranger.
fi-
That's part of your job responsibilities.
So during the
Fixing
week,
remote at the
Monday through Friday,
cabin?
we've got maintenance staff that are there, so they can usually handle that, and they don't work on Saturdays and Sundays. So
So you got to do it all.
I give tours through the
we give
museum.
tours. I've plunged a lot of toilets, and
See, I'd have to put my foot down. on
changed
that.
some breakers on
Sheriff,
some campsites.
What I was fixing to say is, to the majority of law enforcement, we'll be like, that's a lot. That's going above and beyond. But these days, something that I say is lacking on a small scale is customer service to the public.
I agree.
So yes, I don't have to go plunge toilets. I don't have to go smack the side of
Deliver
a
towels.
deliver towels. But at the same time, I'm kind of satisfied to know that not only do we have a state park, but our rangers in the park are willing to go that extra mile to make sure that the people visiting the park are satisfied or are happy and plan to come back. So
it a lot of times it gets difficult. We've talked about it a lot recently, just because with so much on our plate and things like that, about flipping our switch. So we're in this customer service mindset probably 90% of the day. And then, like the other day, I'm driving through the campground waving to kids and, hey, tell me about your bicycle, blah, blah, blah. Dispatch calls. Hey, we have 2 kidnapped juveniles. We need your help. And immediately...
That's the way it was dispatched?
They called me on the phone.
Wow.
And so...
Yeah, you got to change gears.
Immediately flip the switch and, all right, sorry, got to go, and head out and kind of get in the right mindset of, okay, I was just being real friendly and smiling and shaking hands, but now it's time to do business.
Right.
And then when you're done with that, sometimes you have a more stressful call. Last year we had a suicide, and going from that day, I remember specifically, of course, that happened first thing in the morning, so I went from that body recovery to... I had to do a bird program for a whole bunch of families that afternoon. And, after a very stressful morning. But it's something we talk about a lot. But we're a really tight-knit team. There's only 4 of us. We're all great friends. We've been great friends. And we're able to have a lot of those real conversations of, especially that day, of, hey, I'm not up for this today. Can someone else take this program? Or can we just cancel it today? So we have a lot of those conversations, but as a whole Ranger Corps, we've talked about our plates getting really full of stuff. And as we see more law enforcement interactions happening in parks, a lot of those things on the plate fall to the wayside, and we're not able to do all those things. And so our administration is working on different things that they can do to mediate that. They've reintroduced some positions. We got one at our park. It's called a park interpretive specialist, and basically they're uniformed like us, but they're non-commissioned, and they handle a lot of the interpretive programming. So that's less of that we have to do, which is great. I love programming, but I don't have to do it, I feel like, now as much because we have a full-time person there to handle all of those requests.
Y'all run radar?
We do, yes.
What's the speed limit in the park?
25, unless you're at the restaurant, is 15, and if you're in the campground, it's 10.
What's your wiggle room? Is there a little wiggle room on that speed, or is it 20?
It depends on the day.
When you get yelled at and that finger's pointed at you, you know you're approaching the wiggle room.
Who yelled at you?
Well, no. Listen. Hey,
You've seen it before.
They could have made a traffic stop and wrote a ticket. I'll take a finger pointing any day of the week. If it was me that was driving, by the way.
Right.
But no, y'all do a great job out there.
Well, thank you.
And you have for a while. And Henry, if he's listening in, we
That's
miss.
right.
We
Did he
miss
retire
him.
there?
He did. Mm-hmm.
I forgot about
Henry
that.
done a good job out there, but it's nice to. And Mr. Bass did
He did a great job. He left us for the great states out west.
Where did he go to again?
Boyson State Park.
Boyson.
So how many state parks is there in the David Crockett's the only one in Lawrence County?
Correct. So currently we have 57. In this legislative session, as of July 1st, there are 61. We got 4 new state parks. The 4 new ones haven't been completely staffed yet. The first one that's getting a manager here in the next couple of weeks is Middle Fork Bottoms. It's over near Jackson. Devil's Backbone in Lewis County will be its own state park. It's been state property, since the 30s. And it's kind of bounced back and forth between different agencies, but it'll be its own state park. Then there's 2 more east. And then we gained also some natural areas. So Stillhouse Hollow Falls will now be under the jurisdiction of David Crockett State Park.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
How many acres is David Crockett State Park?
1,300.
And is there any talks about letting anybody hunt on it anytime soon?
No.
Well, you said you was going to count deer.
We are going to count deer. So
If you're not, if I don't understand why you're counting deer.
So-
if you're not going to.
Stayed for the show on Friday.
Rachel probably talked about it.
Talked about why they're counting deer.
So part of our
I
job,
had something important I had to take.
part of our many jobs, in addition to all the other things and plunging toilets and all that, is resource management. So that includes the resource, but also all the animals that live there. And over the last few years, we realized we have quite a lot of deer.
Is that why you can't shoot fireworks in a state park? Is because they're afraid you'll scare off all the deer?
No.
Maybe catching the park
Maybe,
on fire. would be
remember
one.
like in Gatlinburg when all that caught on fires because somebody like threw out a match or a firework
But that
or something.
wasn't a firework. No, that wasn't a firework. Be careful. Sheriff's
Okay.
sensitive about his fireworks. Okay.
Well, you're around a lot of trees and things that burn very quickly.
Gotcha.
Therefore, you don't need things
Okay.
that catch
I
on
just
Did you
fire.
know? Did
Thought
you
it was
know
the
that
deer.
you can't bring your own firewood? in the
I
state
did know
park?
that.
Do you
You
know,
know
why,
why?
though?
Do you know why?
Because you are, you're introducing the possibility of other species that the
See there?
Specifically
He
which
listened to the
kind?
show. He
Do
listened
you know
to
which
the show.
kind? There's one little bug.
Hold on, I got a phone call. Y'all
He listens on Fridays.
I know,
Yeah.
that's what I,
Listen,
that's
I'm
what I
a
said.
105.3 fan.
Yeah.
No, that's not where you need to be.
106.1 in the morning.
106.1.
Friday,
Okay,
yeah.
well, I wasn't at 106.1. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like y'all's talk radio. I enjoy Mr. Jeff's show in the morning time.
I had no idea about the firewood until
So what species?
Rachel teaches us
Emerald,
a lot on Fridays.
the emerald ash borer.
Emerald.
You're writing that down. You're taking notes. I'm
I've
proud
took
of
a
you
lot
for
of
that.
notes. I want to know about the devil's backbone later too. So it's called the emerald what?
Ash borer.
And what does it do? Eat trees?
Detrimental to trees.
All I want to do is sell minnows at the boat dock and hunt some of the deer on there. If you ever determine that there's too many deer on the park, what are you going to do?
We've bounced around some different ideas. We've talked about maybe like a wounded warrior hunt. We've talked about some type of youth hunt, something like that. But it would be
Sheriff's hunt?
I don't know about that.
See, they do permits all the time for state property hunts. You wouldn't be breaking any rules.
Oh, I
or
know.
anything.
We're not breaking any rules. It's just kind of getting all that figured out. And then when you're going to do a hunt like that, obviously there's a danger to people who might be camping. So do you need to close the park? Do you need to limit camping? What do we have a lot of moving parts.
What if I get-
Sounds like a lot of pre-planning because our state park stays booked out.
What if I'm hunting close to the park and I shoot a deer and it jumps over on the park and I got to go in there and recover it?
You should call us first.
And that's going to be okay as long as I call? Okay. I just want to
Maybe
make
at
sure.
some parks it wouldn't be okay, but we've had people call us before and say a deer ran onto us after they shot it.
I'm trying, Maddie. I'm trying to figure out how I can pull it off. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for them to
I
determine.
know
I'm waiting.
people that own land that borderline the park.
I do too. But I want to hunt on the park. I want them to come back and say, "Man, we got way too
not
many deer
sneak
on the
on the
park."
park.
I'm not
Do you
talking
know
about
how-
sneaking.
He's talking about doing it legally.
It's really illegal.
I'm talking
It's
about
really
a legal
He
hunt,
stresses me out.
sheriff's only, 3-day.
What you think?
3 days.
A three. Let me finish. You know how Laurel Hill does their bow hunt? They do it like every weekend. But they break it down into each weekend's a hunt,
okay.
and it's you're allowed like one of either sex or
Okay.
buck only or something.
Okay.
When we get ready to do this, let me know, and I'll put my input in there for it.
All right.
So now that we got hunting out of the way, so
Correct.
the lake, Lindsay Lake.
Yes.
Are you? I had a question, or someone asked me a question the other day. Is can they bring their own boat?
They can.
And can they use a trailer motor or
Battery
regular?
only.
Battery only. Okay.
There is no boat ramp though, so be mindful of the boat that you choose to bring.
I
Don't
thought
be
there
bringing
was
a bass boat.
I thought there was. Has there never been a boat ramp?
Nope.
See, I thought there
What
was
about
one too.
kayaking?
You can kayak. We have kayaks for rent, or you can bring your own.
So if I wanted to stay in one of the cabins for a weekend,
Okay.
I could take my kayak and I don't have to pay a fee. I don't have to, and I can keep all the fish I catch.
And there's a limit. It's the state limit.
No.
It's posted down there at the
Are you
lake.
going to be down there when I come in to count my fish?
Well, now that you mention it, probably.
She's like,
Do I need to be? So, y'all are certified, commissioned law enforcement officers
Correct.
that are not your. How did you put that? Your
Post-compliant.
Post compliant, but you still have mandated training you have to do
Yes.
every year.
We do everything that y'all do.
You have to shoot,
Yep.
practice driving,
Yep.
go through all the other courses that's mandated.
Yep.
And you have arrest powers,
Yep.
and you can do it all.
And then we also, all Rangers are at minimum emergency medical responder.
Basic first aid, CPR, EMR,
And then we have
all that.
a lot of Rangers that have gone further and done EMT, paramedic, things like that. We have a fire team that helps with controlled burns, things like that. So if you want to be on the fire team, you can get your red card, get certified for that.
Red card.
that sounded important.
It's really important.
Well, I mean, I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
Have you got a blue card?
No,
Okay.
I don't.
All
But then we also get certified depending on your park. A lot of this is park specific, depending on your particular geography, things like that. We have rangers that are certified in high angle rescue, swiftwater rescue. We have just regular search and rescue that a bunch of us are certified in, man tracking. What else?
Sounds
Some-
like
You
education.
said you just got a certification in something, didn't
I
you?
did. I just got a certification in crisis intervention training.
Oh, fantastic. Was it the course of the FBI?
No, this was through the Murfreesboro Police Department, and it was a 40-hour course. It was actually really good, just how to deal better with mental health patients and mental health calls, because you do have to approach those a little bit differently than your typical call. And that's something that we've seen an increase in parks. A lot of people come to parks. It's peaceful. It's quiet. They come to get away, refresh. But a lot of those people sometimes have other stuff going on and end up needing some help. So it was really eye-opening. I was really glad that I went through the class. It's something I've been passionate about for a while.
Did y'all do any mock sessions where they sit you back to back and make you pretend like you're talking to someone that they just sent you on a call to?
Yes, and we weren't sitting back to back. They had role players. So my particular call, one of them was, I was dispatched to the campground, and there was a man in a tree yelling and causing a disturbance. And so I got there, and how they do it is you respond by yourself, because typically in a park, unless I called the city or the county, I'm probably gonna just be by myself. So got there, and there were the two angry campers because the guy was yelling, so they were yelling and screaming, and then the guy up in the tree was in a ladder, like was literally standing on top of the ladder, like preaching the gospel, and then his wife was down at the bottom, like crying and screaming. And it's, how do you handle all of these emotions and get all of these people calmed down? You know, what are you gonna do? And your focus is obviously the guy in the tree. He's your mental health call. He's the one in most danger, because what if he decides to jump out of the tree, you know? And it was really eye-opening. The role players were excellent. The two angry campers go from being mad and like yelling at me because I'm not doing anything to yelling at him. And they're like, well, if you want to jump, just jump. Go on and jump. Just kill yourself. Just do it. If you believe in God, just do it. And I'm like, you know, that's probably actually happened somewhere. So you get done, and they debrief you, and every scenario is based on an actual call that they've taken in Rutherford County. So that guy was in a tree on the square in Murfreesboro. He suffered from, I think, bipolar disorder. And so was up there in an altered state, manic state. They had to get him down. They were successful. You know, they got him down and got him the help he needed. But the biggest takeaway from it is they told us, you're not going to put a Band-Aid on a call like that. You might go and get them calmed down and leave in 15 minutes, sure, but you're leaving it for the next shift to clean it up, because they're going to get called back. So take the hour and a half it takes to talk to these people, get them where they need to go, and get them the help they need, so you're not going back every week, you know, for the same stuff. And then they actually get some long-term help and relief, which is really the ultimate end goal in that
So what
situation.
you're saying is it was some pretty good training.
It was excellent. It was excellent training. And a lot of the conversation stuff I use every day at work, just building the rapport with people, how to talk to people, how to listen actively. It's helped a lot just in general everyday stuff.
How do you get a job to be one of those role players?
You could probably talk to the guy that did the class was Lieutenant Oser. He works for Rutherford County.
Okay.
So you
All
could
right.
probably
I think
hit
that
him
sounds
up.
like something I might be interested in.
Yeah, I mean they were really.
Give me a call. I want to take the class.
What are you laughing
When you're
for,
there.
Maddie? I'm being serious. I
Yeah.
think I would do good at being a role player.
It was. I mean, they were excellent. They were all very much in character the whole time.
See,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd be doing my civic duty, helping out. I'm all about help.
All about.
How many
help.
domestics do y'all answer?
That's
a year
exactly
over there?
what I was
Oh.
fixing to ask. I promise.
Picture this. You got a couple that's probably retired. They're together. They've been together. My aunt and uncle's a perfect example. They retired and they bought a Winnebago, and that's all they did. They just went all over the southeast and east. I think they went out west a few times. But they're going to get in a fight
Oh, yeah.
at some point.
Oh, yeah.
She's going to burn a burger.
If they go to 30 parks over a year, some park's going to have a domestic at it. It's only.
Oh, yeah.
It's
No, it,
mathematical.
It definitely happens, depending on the park. Where I was in West Tennessee, we were more out of town, so we were less available, I guess, for just your normal walk-in. They're going to camp in a tent, something like that. You had to want to come to that park where I was, so we didn't see a whole lot of stuff like that. Here, I mean, we're right here in the city limits, so we see stuff like that more often than I thought we would. I know
Do y'all allow alcohol on a park?
in your reserved space,
I got you.
What is classified as a reserved space
a
at David
cabin or a
Crockett Park?
campsite.
Okay.
Your reserved overnight space, I should
Okay.
say.
All right.
So if you see a group of people sitting out behind their camper with open containers, are you going to say something? Or are you going to say, hey, you probably need to put that in a cup?
Are they
or-
on their campsite?
Yes.
No.
You're just going, it's okay.
Now, if they get a little bit disorderly, that's a different conversation.
Right.
And that's when you move from customer service to law enforcement.
Mm-hmm. And you don't allow golf carts
Nope.
except in the camping area, right, where you're camping.
Correct.
So that's like to the bathhouse and back,
Yep.
and if you get on the main road.
And you have to have a license plate. It has to be registered. It has to have insurance. It has to have a licensed driver.
So is this any motor vehicle that is on a park road?
Yeah, Park Road's a state road.
Well, I mean, like
Same as any road.
There are some motor vehicles that fall under the specified
like the
CC, like under
Oh, I
50
gotcha.
CCs
Yes.
that don't have to be registered. So that's why I was asking.
Yeah,
is
no,
this
no.
an additional park rule, or are you just saying it's a state route?
It's a state route.
Okay.
You follow all state laws. But specifically in our park statute, it says no golf carts, except for in the campgrounds.
So why would you even bring it if you can't go riding around on the park? Y'all should change that.
You have to talk to the governor
I
about
think
that
I'm gonna.
one.
I think I'm gonna put
That's
in a
some
phone
legislation
call.
that's
I think
gotta
I'm
be
gonna call my
changed
state-
way up the
I think I'm
chain.
gonna talk to my state rep about that. I think
Well,
that's.
I mean, in looking at it this way, most golf carts they can't go above what
25 mile an hour.
25 miles an
Yeah.
hour. That takes care of your speeding problem,
that's it.
Maybe.
right?
And they're a lot quieter. You don't have to
Right.
have any
Less
loud
noise.
mufflers.
Depends if it's a gas or an electric.
Well, still, it's quieter than.
Rachel is watching this show right now, and
She's having
is
like a mini-
yelling.
She's pacing
She's
the
having a
floor.
mini yard
Either
heart
at
attack.
her phone
Yeah, she's pacing
or
the
at
floor
her
up
I
and
computer,
haven't gotten a
because
call or a
we've
text
had-
yet,
we've
so
had
we're
these
good.
Conversations before.
I know. I'm
He's just
Yeah.
seeing if he can get a different answer.
Oh,
from
yeah.
me.
I'm trying to help y'all out a little bit on some of your problems, and
I mean, if you've got, one of those racers or something and you tag it or a Ranger, you can ride that on the road.
see now that's loud.
Right.
We're talking about golf
yeah,
carts.
we're talking about golf
I'm
carts.
just saying that's the rule. Look,
If we get that golf trail from the park to the square, we're going to have to fix it.
there's a key word in there.
If.
If.
Oh,
If.
somebody I know said it's just when, but I won't tell you who that was.
Well, they'll have to figure out how to make it legal for them golf carts to be on the park road.
That's step one. That's what we're going to work on.
Yeah, baby steps.
Baby steps.
Right.
That's
Baby
right.
Steps.
How many suspicious persons do y'all have at
Oh, God.
State Park?
I probably get a call about a suspicious person every day.
Really? Okay.
And a lot of times it's just somebody that's walking around and, enjoying nature and doesn't want to make eye contact or talk to people because they don't like to talk to people.
Well,
You would think, and I'm just saying, the park would be a perfect place for a weirdo. It'd be a perfect place for a weirdo.
I mean, we
to
see
hang
all
out.
kinds for sure.
You know, on the walking trails.
But no, we get a lot of calls about suspicious persons, and usually they are not actually suspicious.
I mean, for the month of July, that was like our third biggest call. You know, that is
Yeah.
one of the biggest calls the police department responds to is a suspicious
I got one
person.
last night. I got one last night coming home from town, and was off duty in my POV, and a friend of mine called that lives maybe only a mile away from me, and he was telling me about a guy, and guy had his shirt off, tattoos all over him, girl walking down the middle of the road, and I said, "Is that all they're doing?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Okay."
We had the last one
I'm
I
not going
had.
to dispatch one of my guys for two people walking down the road unless they appear to be under the influence or they're acting erratic or
Yeah.
I mean, it's not against the law to have tattoos and
Yeah.
walk down the road.
The last suspicious person call I got, they said, "Well, a guy is walking in to the primitive campground with a bag." And I said, "Okay."
Have you been to the gift shop?
It was getting round dark, and so I drive over
She's
there.
like, shopping.
Yeah, so I get over there, and I was like, "Oh, there is actually a tent in primitive, like somebody's camping here, and I don't see a car. But let me just go down to the tent, see if there's a person there." And sure enough, there's a man there with a black garbage bag. He said, "Yeah, I just walked in." I said, "Cool, do you have a car?" "No, I'm homeless." I said, "Great. Have a good night." He paid for his campsite. All his belongings were in his garbage bag.
There you go.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
Also, I should note the primitive sites are walk-in only, so obviously he would be walking to his tent even if he had a car because you can't drive to it.
Much time we got?
Anyway,
You got around 8 minutes.
We talked about this earlier.
Mm-hmm.
What is y'all's policy on firearms?
if you have a permit, obviously you're good.
Carry
They-
concealed, or
Yes, you can, if you have a permit, you can carry concealed.
you can open carry too?
As
Pistols
per,
only? Mm-hmm. You can't walk around the park with a AR slung?
No.
Okay. All right, because I want people to, I want
No.
it to be clear for
No, you
everybody.
can't. Well, and just like we talked about earlier too. I mean, if you're carrying concealed, I have no reason to walk up and ask you, "Hey, are you concealed carrying? Can I see your permit?" That'd be like stopping every car on the road. "Hey, I see you're behind the wheel of this car. Can I see your driver's license?"
Right.
You can't do that. So, I mean, if it's an open carry, again, that's part of the law now. So,
So you honor the Tennessee constitutional carry.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to have a permit. Or do you have to have a permit to carry on the park?
if you're going to carry concealed.
So you can open carry without a permit on the park?
I think so. I think we just honor the state. Well, I have 5 texts from Rachel.
Rachel's like,
I told you.
leave
No,
now, just get up and walk out.
No,
The sheriff
she
is
said no.
trying
She
to
did
get
say
you in a corner.
no. She said it's a state law. You do have to have a permit to carry in a park.
Okay, so
No matter how you carry, you have
no
to have a
matter
permit.
how you carry, you have to have a permit.
Yes.
Gotcha. Or law enforcement.
But no ARs.
No ARs, pistols
No
only.
shotguns.
And y'all are probably like me. You recommend to everybody that if you're going to carry concealed. There's no,
Why would you want to make yourself a target?
There's really
That's
no
it.
reason to open carry unless you're just wanting to show off. Unless you just bought a pretty brand new H&K, and you're wanting everybody to look at it. You know.
Yeah.
See, I don't look at that as I want everybody to look at it. I look at that as I'm offering it to everybody to come take it. You know, I'm a big
One of-
fan of concealed carry.
One of my biggest pet peeves is holsters. It drives me nuts when you see somebody with $1,000 pistol and a $4 holster. It drives me nuts. I said something to somebody not long ago. I said, "Nice pistol. Can I see it?" And they're like, "Yeah, I just got it last week." And they unload it and they show it to me, and I look at it and hand it back. And I said, "Where'd you get the holster at?" "I got it right up here in town." I said, "Well, if you're going to spend this kind of money, spend a little money on a holster and get one that's safe and it looks good and it's comfortable, and don't get some cheap nylon snap.
Right, with a money clip buckle and
that
it's
if you
just-
fall over, it comes off your belt, and or a 3-year-old can get it off your hip, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, I had a guy ask me last night to talk a little bit more about carrying constitutional carrying permits,
I gotcha.
where you wearing it. So we'll probably next week or the week before, I may try to get somebody on and talk about that a little bit, because there's still some people out there that it's not clear
we get asked about it all
where
the
they
time.
can carry and where they can't. And
That's
I
it.
always tell them, you can carry anywhere unless it says you can't.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. And then Rachel did clarify. She said the state law, she said, well, in her string of text messages, she said it's a state law, and then she said I meant about golf carts. I said it was part of our park statute that no golf carts are allowed in a park, but our park statute is state law.
Thank you,
There you go.
Rachel. Thank you. I know you're listening.
I
Right.
knew it was coming. I
I
wanted
knew it was.
Yeah.
I knew it was.
But, well, and just
I'll see
to
you tomorrow morning, Rachel.
just to clarify too, we just like TWRA has their own chapter in the statute, Parks has our own chapter in the statute.
She's explained this to him.
Yeah.
Now,
You're doing a great job.
We're chapter 11 if you ever want to read up on our stuff.
now y'all are under the Department of Interior, right?
No, that is federal. We are in Tennessee. We're the Department of Environment and Conservation.
Gotcha. Okay.
National
TWRA
parks.
under the same.
No, TWRA is their own thing. We used to be one, and then TWRA did their own thing.
Gotcha.
So is that a law or a policy about selling minnows from the boat dock?
It is a law that you cannot conduct business on a state park.
Rachel just sent 2 more text messages.
What about if I'm giving them away and I'm taking donations?
It's the same thing.
You're not a nonprofit. Like, just get over
I'm
it.
going to figure this out. It's going to take a little while.
See, at the end of the day, I think the customer service is so good at Crockett Park. That's where the sheriff wants to spend his free time.
Well, I don't blame you.
And we're going to talk a little bit more about this Pioneer Days, about coming up there and setting up camp for a couple of hours.
You can talk to Rachel about that in the morning. I'm sure she'll talk about Crockett Days tomorrow.
Crockett Days. What did I say?
Pioneer Days.
Yeah. What can we sell, Captain? We can sell something up there.
Well, Menace is out of the question.
Minnows is a no-go. We're not selling
how
minnows.
Are you
they
gonna-
get to
Hey,
sell
now-
things?
So they have a special use agreement.
See,
That's
I
what we gotta
backed you
have.
up right there for a second.
See, I don't need that because I'm sheriff.
Rules for thee and not for me.
If I'm not mistaken, there used to be some of them guys, and if it's the same club, they used to do hand rolled cigars, which was a pretty neat attraction.
Really?
And this, like I said, this was in another county,
Yeah.
but right there in front of you, I mean, would just hand roll a fresh cigar and
I don't think they'll do that at Crockett Days, but it's probably some of the same guys.
okay, good group. They were a great group.
Yeah, I think I'm going to come by if it's not too hot. I knew I was going to get that.
In August.
She's out there in her vest.
In Tennessee.
Sweat
If
just
it's not
pouring
too
off
hot.
of her.
No, I just told those guys the other day they need to get out of the air conditioner a little more.
It's
Hold
true.
up, just
Get a little acclimated.
There you go.
I was very acclimated. Okay, I've got the scars to prove it right now. But with that being said, hey, I'm proud of what y'all doing out there at the park.
Thank you.
Seems like you got your stuff together. Shout out to Rachel. Good to hear that not only is customer service a big topic on the table, it sounds like education is too.
Absolutely. It is.
Fantastic.
All right. I guess we're out.
Now you got 30 seconds. Any last words?
What's your all's front office number?
931-903-2323.
And
Blake, you want to give out your cell phone number in case anybody needs you?
Absolutely. I give my cell phone
if you don't know
number out
mine, then you're
out to
living on
everyone.
another planet.
Then you're out of the loop in Lawrence County. So there's that. All
Ours
right.
is 762-3626. Y'all's is
762-2276.
See there? I knew
All
that.
right. Everybody say bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.